Good evening. This is the regular meeting for the Newfane Selectboard at 6 p.m. and we welcome everybody who is watching on BCTV as well as the people who are here. Mike Fitzpatrick, Chris Williams, Shelley Huber, Gary Delius, Shannon Meckel, Administrative Assistant, and we have Jay Wilson, Road Crew Foreman, and Lynn. Planning Commission, yes. And Marion Dowling. I do have a short announcement to make, and that is we are requesting that for the next several meetings, anybody who would like to come and be on the agenda or just be an unscheduled member of the public, please arrive here at 6 p.m. Because we have had irregular times of closing the meetings lately. And so in order to be heard, we would like everybody to be here at the same time, 6 p.m. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm calling the meeting to order. And are there additions or amendments to the agenda? No. Okay, thank you. Let's have a motion passed for the first set of minutes, November 19th, 2000. Okay, regular meeting. Okay, approved. Any discussion on either minutes, on the first minutes? No. All those in favor of accepting November 19th minutes, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. The next set of minutes are for November 26th, and that was our budget meeting. Anybody approve that, please?
I'll approve.
Okay. Second. Okay, thank you. Any discussion on the budget meeting minutes? No? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No?
I just have to abstain because I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay, thank you. So we have one person abstaining. We have 4 who have approved. Thank you. Next item, road business, and that is the road foreman and the road commissioner's report. And Jay Wilson, road foreman, could you please read the minutes?
Sure. It's very short. So, the people from the state that do the road safety audit were in town last week, and I've looked at the village areas and Dover Road, and they will be doing a report for us. So sometime in the next month or 2, we'll probably have something from them.
That's awesome.
Yep. I've contacted Melanson Roofing to look at the Williamsville Hall. They just wanted to make sure the snow was all off it before they came over, but they said they'd come and take a look at it and give us a price. We spent all of last week cleaning up the storm from Monday night. We've still got more to do, but we had many roads that were closed for extended periods of time because of wires down and so forth. And most people were very cooperative and understood that it was a tough storm. And there was some of the roads were closed for 4 days. But most people were good about it. So power company worked very hard, lots of hours, lots of crews we've never seen before, and finally got everybody on. And of course we had another little storm yesterday and knocked a few more people out, and again today. But I think we're back pretty much.
All the roads back open?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And just for a little trivia, we sanded and/or salted 16 different days in November. I don't remember doing that.
Yeah, what they're gonna do for our sand and salt budget, or do we know yet?
December's not going to have any.
You're right.
It's all over in January.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jay, somebody stopped me the other day. It's a relatively new resident of Newfane who lives all the way up the hill past Kenny Pond.
Nice.
You know who that is?
Mm.
And that person told me she's amazed at how the road crew does such an efficient and timely job, and she wanted me to tell you, please accept her thanks and please say thank you to all the road crew. She's new here and she's beyond impressed.
They were closed out, I think it was 3 days before we could get to them all the way out through. So, yeah.
Thank you for that. Any discussion about the road crew?
Motion to approve the road performance and road commissioner's report.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, the report is accepted, and thank you so much, Jay. Just want to ask Chris, did you want to add anything to the road report? No.
They just worked super hard. The only one thing I will add to it, the part-time gentleman working for the town is amazing, the good job he does. I've watched him in several places, and it's just, he's worth his weight in gold, that's all I'm gonna say.
And it is amazing to know that, I think that Newfane is a very special place. It is constant, wonderful reports about the road crew and the people, and to hear that a new person is doing a great job is a very good
He was
thing.
here last year too, but he's really just unbelievable.
Yeah, good, thank you for saying that. Hey Bob, how are you?
Have we even had a chance to try out that new rig there?
Yeah, he came down today, we talked to him, he's gonna, price out a slightly bigger one. There was a few things that was a little lacking on. I think Dummerston may be renting this one, or they're gonna decide tomorrow morning whether they're gonna, yeah, it had a lot of really nice features, but it could have used just a little more power. So he's gonna come up with price for the next size up and just see what that comes out to.
Okay, thank you. So we're moving on to the administrative assistance report. Shannon, would you please read your report?
I don't have a written one. I've just been working on getting the budget together and starting on the town report, so
Okay,
that's where all my time is.
well, you're doing a great job. Thank you. Okay, so are there any unscheduled members of the public? So now we move to scheduled members of the public. And Lynn Forrest, would you, and your group, Tom and Angela, for the planning commission, just introduce yourselves to the camera and begin.
A few months ago, the select board requested that the planning commission present them with some recommended goals to work on. And so I just handed out our recommended short-term and long-term goals. I am not going to read them all. Everybody say thank you now.
Thank you, Nick.
But we've been, as a group, we've been working on these and parsing them out. Partly, a lot of them are based literally on what is in the town plan. Gary asked when we were talking about traffic calming, he said, show us where it is in the town plan. And so a lot of the wordage in here is are quotes directly from the town plan, referencing the page and number, subparagraph, etc. But I will say that one of the things that was very interesting is that under transportation, the transportation recommendation on the town plan, page 31, is invite public participation in transportation project hearings to get feedback from residents. And so I will kudos to the select board for being part of that and supporting that, and to the planning commission and the village liaisons that worked on getting, there's a check mark, and I always like starting out something like that with a check mark. But I will just do the headings, and then
Sure.
the planning commission would like to work at some point with the select board and go through some of these items and maybe decide which ones are the highest priority and which ones are that we have a short term end up being long term. But I'll just do the headings so people are aware, and then I will ask that these get posted on with our minutes, with the planning commission's minutes. So transportation, as we know, economic development, these are short term, and economic development definitely comes up over and over again because so many people in our survey said, we want more things to do in town. And then their next sentence was, we don't want to change anything. So, so that's something that, you know, that a town always struggles with. So a suggestion there would be to create a group, for the select board to create a group that wants to play with that, talk about what that's going to be. Cultural, establishing gathering places in the other villages. We have a wonderful common here, but it would be nice to get together in other areas. We have a bunch of land, quite a bit of land that got turned over from FEMA. After Hurricane Irene, along Dover Road, perhaps a gathering place could be there without any large structures. Another category would be housing, and there's quite a bit of housing policies and recommendations in the town plan on page 35. Another would be looking at housing security and food security, as a estimated 11.2% of the town's population was below poverty level in the period 2012 to 2016, and that has been increasing since 2000, when it was 5%. And I will say on page 3, there's at the top of the page, it says recommended short-term goals. These are long, so that's my copy and paste mistake.
Oh, I was getting confused.
Yeah,
It's redundancy, right?
You know, women, short and short. One of the, again, economic development, transportation, natural resources, and conservation issues. There's completing the River Corridor Protection Act and redoing the bylaws to be in compliance with the state of Vermont. There's some issues under community and cultural and, for example, publicize Newfane's hidden gems. We have some really wonderful things here in Newfane. For example, we have the Forest Trail. We have a playground at the elementary school that kids can use after school's over. And one of the things in that category that was a continual recommendation in the survey was creating kiosks or someplace where people could go to share information, a bulletin board or bulletin boards. I know in South Newfane there is no location at all since the old store closed. But as somebody on the Bob McCandless wrote when we were working on this, we need to let everybody know what can be experienced here. It should be the town's self-promoting town crier station. And so people could we could post our minutes or our agenda. Again, housing comes up. One of the things that we would like the select board to approve, I guess I would call it, is the last 2 pages in the handout to the select board are about the Vermont Council on Rural Development. And this is a nonprofit organization that comes into towns and works with people in the towns, with the citizens, on their town-wide goals. We in the Planning Commission have done that, but we're not experts. We're trying hard with that, but we're all just people who live here. So this organization comes in and they have community-wide meetings. They help people come up with subcommittees and work on projects that the townspeople find important. And so I'd like permission from the select board to ask, to apply for them to come and visit Newfane. So I think, so that wraps it up. And that gives you a great overview of what we've been working on without going into other. Couple highlights recommended: establishing a farmer's market. and having a bike rack in Newfane. So those are some fun, maybe easy, low-hanging fruit. So,
I
any
like
questions?
I like the suggestion about locating and naming all the farms in the town of Newfane.
Yes.
Because I'm sure there are many more than people think there are.
There, according to the census, the American survey, there are 115 people working in farming and food production. And that's not just food service. Those are the people who are making things or fixing things for the people that are doing that kind of work. So, any questions?
Anybody
No,
have a question?
excellent job though. It gives us a target to shoot at. We, as a board, try to achieve each year. This gives us something that we can say, we're going to be working on these items. Come and contribute to help, besides our other work.
I have a question. Well, I know that we're working on transportation and the traffic calming.
Right.
But for example, when you say under the first item of transportation, the second dot says provide a crosswalk in Newfane Village, and to provide it at the general store and People's Bank. So my question is that this has been discussed several times since I've been on select board, and I think this is my 4th year. And is it because Vermont Route 30 is a state highway that we really don't have the authority to do this on our own?
They would have to do it.
The state has to do it.
And we made a request of them.
Yeah.
Right, is that something the select board can make a request of the state to add to make our town
Yeah.
safer?
Because this has been part of a conversation with the select board, at least that I've been on for the last several years. And sometimes it's just been said that, well, we don't have the authority because it's a state highway. So
Right.
that would be something that we would need to look into further.
And I believe when the crosswalks are put in, if they are able to be put in, there has to be a sidewalk on each side.
Uh-huh.
Well, like the area in
I don't
front
know.
of the Newfane Market, I mean, is like a, opened area. I don't know if it has to be designated as a sidewalk.
I thought we had the state people here one time talking about this, wasn't it?
We did.
Right, that's
Sure,
what
we
he said.
did too.
But that's what I said, that's what he's saying, that's
Right.
about sidewalks and.
And we were also talking about having one by the post office, crossing over somewhat to the town hall.
Yeah.
Well, this is to answer part of the question, is this was a quote right out of the town plan. So I didn't unquote it. So I think you could just go ... and a crosswalk in.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jay, you went to the training for the road people, didn't you? You go to that recent training? Shelley,
Like
I
the
know they
V-Trans?
talk a lot
Yeah.
about crosswalks.
Yeah.
The training that was put on by the state of Vermont, V-Trans.
I didn't go to the one up in Manchester. I didn't make it up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you get to that one?
We went to the one in Emerson,
Yes.
and they, excuse me, they did talk about crosswalks, but I think it's up to the jurisdiction of the state to
Right.
decide where those crosswalks would be most safely established in a given village or a given town.
But perhaps that, and working with the Route 30 group that's going on right now with the state of Vermont and V-Trans,
Yeah, that's the corridor.
that might be the natural way to get into it. And ask the question, how do we
Yeah.
do that? Because I'm sure we're not the only town or the only village that needs that kind of control and safety measure. So in here is a recommendation, as a request, that the select board appoint someone as a representative to that study group, so that there's continuity, so we always hear back from that.
Another question, moving right along to another topic under housing. When you say that you want to have a committee or appoint a committee to study and recommend a housing security plan for Newfane, can you define what you mean by housing security?
I'm trying not to use a buzzword here. I believe you would say that it was places that people could live there where they could afford to live.
So it's for security, are you saying like you want to have security in the terms of having people know that there's a place to live in Newfane, like that kind of security?
Right, or it would be if, it might be looking at locations. Well, we have people working here that wouldn't be able to pay rent to live here, or wouldn't be able to live here. So it would be looking at the possibilities of, are there places to create housing where our local workers that work at the Crow or that work at the Four Columns have a place to live and comfortably.
You might say, instead of security, you might say secure opportunities.
Yeah, I think the word security is a little confusing. I think I would rather have something else like that, because I don't know if you're talking about security in terms of safety, or if you want to say that Newfane will provide you with the security of having a place to live. So it's a little confusing, and I think what Bob said might work better.
Right.
If you don't mind. Thank you. Are there any other questions that somebody have, or comments?
I have a question about like the community visit, how does that visit work? How do we start it? Is there a
There is
cost?
some information attached to your packet on the last 2 pages. My understanding is that the town asks them to come. I don't know the exact procedure, whether you call them on the phone or whether there's an application. I didn't want to go
Oh, here's a
forward with that.
contact information here.
Right.
It's-
From what I understand, they come in for 3 visits, and they come in and work with a group of interested people, sit down, divide them up into different groups, and whatever their focuses are on, and have them start working on that. And then they come back another time. And I apologize, I don't remember the name of the town, but it was in the Southern Vermont Cultural and Arts magazine, I think it is, and it talked about one of the towns that they had come in and done some really good work. And they were also have been presenters at a number of the trainings that we've gone to.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
So, some help for us, because we're doing our community forums with as much oomph as we have, and it would be great to have free assistance and expertise on getting clearer on how people want the town to look and how they want to look and how to work with the contradictions that we constantly do. Keep it the same, but make it different.
Well, thank you all for the hard work you do on this. And we appreciate it, and always have nice smiles on our faces when you come in. Anything else? Bob or Angela, do you want to add anything?
No, I think Lynn's done a fantastic job explaining things.
Yes, you have done all of
Yes.
Oh, and the next planning commission meeting will be January 14th. We're taking a break there based on our who's in town, who's out of town, the availability, and also taking a breather.
We're taking a holiday.
Oh, I want to say Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we request the Vermont Council on Rural Development to make a site visit.
Excellent. I second it.
Do you know when you're talking about this year or
I think it
the
is.
new semester, so to speak?
I-
As a teacher, I'm
Well,
referring to semester.
I think we pretty much have to be to their schedule, not ours.
Right.
So
So you're asking the planning commission to do this?
I think we have to request this, or do you?
I think we have to request it and we have to kind of leave.
I believe we could request it, but I'm not doing it without the select board.
So we can approve it, maybe have a motion.
Give us permission to ask.
Yes.
Okay,
What, do you want to make a motion for that, about that?
I'll modify my motion to encourage that the planning commission contact the Borough Council on rural development for a site visit.
And that the select board encourages it.
Yes.
Yes, suggested. Okay. Anybody want to make a motion?
I
Second
seconded
that?
it already, but I second the amended version.
Okay,
The what?
I have already seconded
the original motion.
the original motion, so
Okay, do you want to second the amended?
I just did.
Okay, good. Anybody else have a discussion about this? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. So, thank you. We are in total support of you seeing about having a site visit planned for us.
Thank you.
Could you give us an idea of what the menu is going to be in the January 14th meeting so we can plan ahead?
To be determined.
Oh, okay.
you guys have food?
Last time we did.
Missed the hell.
Oh, you missed it. You
And we
missed
shared
it.
with the select board and it was wonderful.
Yeah. And you seem you're in a much better mood.
Arrived last week.
There will be dessert.
Okay, thank you everybody for coming.
Traffic calming, we should say.
You leaving? You're staying?
No, we're
Oh,
staying.
Okay.
They didn't have an agenda, so they didn't know traffic calming came up next.
I don't think there's actually anything.
Oh, okay. So let's see, we are on old business traffic calming.
I don't think there's any update.
No, okay.
Okay.
Next on the agenda is discussion about school property on Brookline, New Brook. You want to find out something, Bob?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if the basketball court at the elementary school is available to the general public, because I had heard that somebody was there playing ball and they were told to leave the premises.
Oh,
That's a good question.
I don't know who, it's what I heard, I wasn't there, so it's hearsay.
I had the same issue with someone I know that went to swing with their friend and have just some fun, and they were asked to leave by the state police.
really?
Can I ask you, was that a school day or on the weekend?
It was after hours in the
Really?
evening.
Okay, because my understanding was, and I know people who have been told and did in fact take children down there, like on the weekends to play basketball, and so we were told that it was open, so I have no idea.
I've been down there a few times and I've never had any problems.
I think maybe the question needs to be asked of the principal. What's their take on it? If it's during public school time, maybe no, but after hours, it should be open to the public.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, to me, on the same lines as the rules and regulations about our town forest. Do we advertise that anywhere? Because it's like, I was shocked when I heard that we had a town forest,
Same to me.
you know?
I didn't know either.
So if we have a basketball court that some of our teenagers want to use, that should be made public knowledge.
Mhm. And there's some trails in there and they have like a frisbee throw thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a perfect place for
And
the
a-
kids to congregate.
And they have
And it's safe.
they have a pavilion down there.
Yeah.
That was,
I think you find they don't want them there.
They do not want
But see,
people.
now it's all owned by the district too, so the town ain't got much to say about it.
Right.
Well, no, I'm not gonna say no. I found
Well,
out
you know
tomorrow
what, we're about to discuss the issue of school property, so maybe, Mike, if you want to start with that, we can
Well, I just
incorporate
wanted to
this
go back to
issue.
the other thing, just real quick on the traffic
Yeah.
thing. Like you already brought up, if we wanted to say something to the state about the guide rails for Norm,
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
for Mulder and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, I've got that printed out, so when the Route 30 corridor meeting comes, I'm gonna give it to them so that they know
And we suggest them put something on
that
that
that's
for
an
it.
issue,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
I think they're meeting up in Townsend, did I see?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Coming up.
next Tuesday at
Yeah.
10 o'clock in the morning.
Next Tuesday, right?
okay.
11th at 10, I believe.
Yeah.
yeah.
So do you want to talk about the school issue?
Well, I don't know if there's really much to talk about, is it? I mean, after we got that letter the other day, it says we don't have much to say about it, you know?
What was the letter?
No, I'm not gonna say that.
Well, we talked about it recently, and we decided that we would somehow repeat the issue in front of
Well,
the
it was
camera
brought
so that
up.
people would know what we're talking about.
Right, I mean, it's brought up in, town meeting, we asked about the solar fields.
Right.
And they told us how much money we're gonna be getting from the solar fields, how much money is gonna be knocked off electric bills and all this kind of stuff. And within 2 or 3 weeks later, all of a sudden they're saying, well, the district's gonna own it all. Other towns give their land, like you're saying, the playgrounds and all this stuff back to the town, so it could be part of the town property. Our school has let it all gone to the district, so I've been told. So now we don't get none of the money out of the solar fields. And all this electric, all that money goes to the district. All that property goes to the district.
Is it, was it legally tendered to the district?
So
Yeah.
Was was it deeded to the district, or does the town still own
I
it?
have heard that it has not completely gone through from somebody that knows a little bit about it.
I mean, I think, the way I look at it, it was 2 separate parcels. The land that we bought separate from the Lions Club that time should have gone back to the town. The town would have had control of the solar fields. They'd had control of the ball fields, like you got that meeting place down there, the pavilion. Like you're saying, people had been a place where people could go and have things, whatever they wanted it. But now, I mean, you'd have to be asking the district by the sounds. But like I'm saying, it only made common sense that the school board should have brought it to us. I mean, it was all the town's people that voted to buy this.
Yeah.
And if it goes to the district, we lose out on it.
It should be part of the town.
Well, when you think about it, if we didn't own it, why did we have a town meeting and vote on it?
Right.
Well, I wonder who signed the contract with the solar company? Well, if it was
school board did.
School board did.
School board.
But see, now when they did the merger, anything the school board, the town of Newfane had for school property goes to that. So the way I understand it, if they want to, say if Newfane, if they shut Newfane down, for instance, say if it happened to be one of the schools they do shut down eventually, and they only end up with 2 or 3 schools throughout this valley that is going to supply all the kids, if that's sold, that money I think goes to the district, not back to the town. I mean, it's been pretty vague. They haven't told us a lot about it, unless we go to the meetings. I mean, I tried to get it 2 or 3 years ago to get them to have this stuff filmed on the school boards, and they didn't want to do that. They didn't have it.
Something for the town lawyer.
They didn't have it in their budget, they said, at that time. I mean, it was only like $100. And like I told them, they could get people in town to even help pay that. But, so I mean, right today, I mean, who the hell knows what is going on with it? Last letter they sent us here at our last meeting, sounded like it's too late, it's already gone.
Do we still have that letter
You have to see if the land transfer has been through.
about what Mike said about?
Have to look up the deed and see if the land transfer
It's already,
has been processed.
Yeah,
you have it?
yeah, I get it, right.
Yeah, I'd like to read it again.
Yep.
For everybody at home to understand what we're talking about.
They went ahead and spent $92,000 for that property, and the taxpayers didn't even know about it.
It doesn't make, legally, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, if the town didn't deed the property to the school board, then the town still owns the property. How can the school board circumvent that? I mean, it's like, that's a legal issue. We need to ask the town lawyer.
I
we can get a hold of the LCT and have them research.
I think the school board,
Vermont
we
League
looked at
of
it,
Cities and Towns.
the school board
Yeah.
purchased it and they had the option to be able to do that without approval up to 100,000. Is that what's discussed? So they had the right to purchase the property up to $100,000 worth of.
But did that go to town meeting for a vote to allow them to do that?
I don't
They
think
didn't
so.
Well,
need
I don't think they
didn't
have
need
to, really.
Because it was under the
Right,
threshold
it
of
was
money,
under
they
the
didn't need a
threshold.
town meeting to do it.
You didn't need it, huh?
No.
Okay, I'd like to read this for everybody to hear again if we've heard it, and for the people at home to hear it for the first time. On, let me see, where's it date? Oh, here. On Tuesday, November 13th, Shannon emailed Ken McFadden, who is on the Wyndham Central Board, and she said, "Hi Ken, we've had a question come up about the land around the school and what will happen to it if towns merge. You may have heard conversations. The select board is going to bring this up at their next meeting and didn't know if you and your fellow board members might be able to attend to start a conversation. The next meeting is November 19th at 6 p.m. Thanks so much, Shannon Meckel." Ken McFadden emailed Shannon on Wednesday, November 21st, and he's responded by saying, "Hi Shannon, the yes vote for consolidation of district already consolidated all the properties of the school districts. All school properties now belong to the West River Modified Union Education District. Sorry I missed the meeting, Ken." So, just to say that we were not notified, we did not know anything about this.
But it doesn't, so that says any school property, but it doesn't say, I mean, there's still like a question of, is the land that the solar's on school property?
Some of it is, some of it isn't.
So you can have a solar field and half of it belongs to the district and half of it doesn't?
I think they're fine, they think the whole thing belongs to the district.
Yeah, the whole thing belongs to the district because they bought the
That's
land.
what they said,
Yeah.
the money now goes to the district. I mean, that's what I said, they're at town meeting, they started here telling us how great a deal they got with it. And within weeks, I mean, and they knew that, I mean, it just didn't happen overnight, you know? They didn't just come in and say, we're taking it now within a month, this has been brewing along. So at town meeting, they knew, you know, what was going on with this whole thing. And that's when it should have been brought up at that point. Nobody had questioned nothing because everybody thought everything's really nice, you know? But, you know, if they brought it up at that meeting and said, look, we're gonna lose our solar field and all this and all that, you'd seen a lot more complaints.
So it was unintended consequences of the vote to consolidate the schools.
Yeah, because the school bought that property.
I mean, the way I look at it, they don't get anything, it should have been just a building. And a couple acres of land with it. The rest of the land should have gone to the town.
Who paid for the solar array? Town folks or the school?
School.
I mean, the townspeople
Yeah.
did through the
Well, it's
school
all out of
because
the
it's
same
all your
pocket, no
tax
matter how you
money.
look at it, you know? That's one of the things when we were down there arguing about a solar field, and I told them, I said, well, let's put it on the dump. Well, you know, then who's gonna get the money? The town's gonna get the money, they said. I said, what the hell difference does it make? It's the same pocket. You're still reaching in the same pocket to pay your taxes, either if it goes to the school or the town.
But they weren't thinking that
No.
when they went to get our approval to put it on the school property.
Right.
So again, if we had to go to a town meeting and approve that, why, if they owned the property and they were gonna fund the installation of the array? I missed that dynamic of why they had to go through town meeting to get approval to do
It
that.
was a school board vote. Like every year when we have town meeting,
Yeah,
we have the vote on town issues and we have the vote on school issues. It's two different bodies.
I understand that, but what I'm getting at is, why do they need the town approval if it's their land and they're gonna pay to put the solar array on? Is it just because there's this thing with the town that the school board is an adjunct to the town, so to
Well, I don't
speak?
think they paid to put the solar array on it, did they?
No.
That was brought in by a company, they got rent out of it.
Right.
That's what this money, they negotiated the $20-some thousand a year, plus supposed to be 10 or 15% off the electric bill.
But still, Mike, why did they need our approval?
Right. Right. But I mean, the whole thing is, the way I look at it, they blew smoke up everybody's, you know what, and I mean, and we should have been aware of what was gonna happen with this whole merger.
Yeah.
You
I
know, it
think
wasn't just
that-
the emergent school boards and schools together, they're taking your property.
I think the big issue right now is that there's no communication between the school board and the select board. And that's another thing that's been going on for a few years, where we have tried to get the school board to meet with us or to inform us or come to meetings. I do remember one time, but not more than that. And also, they are supposed to follow open meeting laws the same way as any other organization does. And as Mike said, it was suggested or we requested a while ago that they also have BCTV film their meetings, video their meetings, and that didn't happen.
And this is just for, you were talking about Newfane Elementary School, because I know the high school they have. Huh?
This is
Newbrook, I'm sorry.
Newbrook,
Yeah, Newbrook.
yes,
I know the high
Yes.
school does.
Yes,
I
they
often
do.
see them.
yeah.
If this belongs to the district, why does the town of Newfane have to plow it and maintain it in the winter out of just our few people's pocket that pays for it? Why doesn't the district pay for it?
Exactly.
You have a very good point.
That's a question you need to pose to them.
Right,
And yet, that's
exactly.
that's a good reason why you need to get them in front of you here.
Right.
You have
Either
legitimate
that-
questions to ask them.
Either that or attend the school board meetings.
Yeah, that's the other option, is be there and where it says unscheduled members of the public.
Well, I know, but I mean, I think they should come to our meeting.
Yeah,
When all five of us are sitting at the table, we've
Yep.
asked these questions before, you
Absolutely.
know? And just like Chris is, I mean, he's got a good point, you know? If the
yeah.
district owns it, let them pay have somebody plow
Mhm.
it. Or the road crew don't need to be doing it.
Right.
No, they got nothing else to do.
What else is paid by the town?
Hmm?
What else is paid by the town at the school? I didn't realize that the snow plowing was done. Is there driveway repair or what?
Well, like grade the
Parking lot.
parking lot, the dirt one. They sand it, they salt it.
That should all come out of the district if they own
Yeah.
it.
That's right, exactly right.
So perhaps the select board should write a letter to Ken McFadden and the Wyndham School District and state that in response to Ken's letter, this is my proposal, but we can vote on, that he's saying that all school properties now belong to this education district, that we are responding by saying that it has been the policy in the past that the town maintain the property by snow blowing and snow mowing. And if we don't,
No, I don't know.
we don't mow, just snow blowing?
Well, snow plowing.
Snow
Snow
plowing.
plowing, sanding and salting.
Okay.
And grading the driveway.
Yeah, that,
The
in
dirt
our
road.
opinion, that is not our responsibility anymore. We don't own the property.
Good question. Has the town ever received any money from the solar? The $20,000 a year, has the town, so the town has never gotten
The
that.
town wouldn't have gotten it anyway, the school
Right,
would have gotten
Then
it.
would have gone to the school.
Yeah.
so we wouldn't see that transaction.
Does anybody think that we should write a letter or what?
Yes,
I think that it's worthwhile to write a letter requesting a joint meeting of the two boards.
Yeah,
An official request for a joint meeting of both boards,
okay,
and so that we can discuss these issues.
right. So that could be the response, Shannon, that we could give to his letter, saying now we understand we don't own this property anymore. We would like to have a meeting with both groups to go forward, because up until now, the town has been responsible for taking on several maintenance.
Right. Now, is it the
Projects.
Newbrook board you want, or do you want the Unified District Board?
Maybe it should be both.
What did you say?
Maybe it should be both, so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we need to vote on this, Shannon, or not?
Yeah.
Yes,
If
you would.
somebody makes a
Okay.
motion.
So you
So
made,
move.
yes, okay.
Second.
We
second.
sent the letter to
Yeah.
the joint district
Okay, all
requesting a
those in
meeting of
favor?
both committees.
Yes, all those in favor of that, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, thank you. We will write a letter. Yes, Bob?
Does the town allocate any funds to the school system every year?
That's what I'm wondering.
We don't, but they get a sizable portion of the taxes that
Right.
are
I mean, the
collected.
voters do appropriate money because when they have their yearly school meeting, just like our town meeting, they're voting to approve the budget.
But that, it doesn't come out of the general fund.
Yeah, but there is like a building capital and stuff like that for repairs and stuff, right? Isn't there?
Not through the town budget, no. The school has their own.
Right. But
So
what I'm saying is, here we're talking about plowing the thing. I mean, they always put in money for if they need repairs, furnaces, whatever else, right? And voted, come back to the town. I mean, we went down and voted on stuff for that building. For the
Right.
electric heat and all this
Right, so
paid by
the
the
voters
taxpayers.
end up paying it, just not through our town budget.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, that stuff should all come off our budget now, if that's put in by the districts. To be
Right.
funding this thing.
Well, that's their meetings, though. Our meetings and our budget have nothing to do with
Yeah,
the school.
it's
Right.
just, we just collect, as my understanding is
We
that we
collect
just
the
collect it.
taxes, and then
and
we're
then-
told what to pay the schools. We
Right.
have nothing to do with their budget.
Right.
And when they have their budget meetings, about 6 people show up. It's crazy.
Well, so if we're doing the snow plowing and the sand,
That's
where,
the
where
only
does that
thing-
money come
That's
from?
the only thing that's coming out of the town of Newfane's budget.
Well, I think that's what you're talking about
But
also.
Right.
no
Why are
building,
we going to pay that money?
no building maintenance comes out of our town funds.
So what was the effective date of that, do you know? Has it occurred that it's become property of the Unified
There
School District?
must have been a townwide meeting for the school
It doesn't
where they
say.
voted yes to do it,
It doesn't
To
say.
do what?
He said it's
to become the
already been
unified district.
Oh,
consolidated.
that was on,
It was-
yeah, that was the same day as
Act
the
46.
midterm elections.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. But it was, I don't think that all of the ramifications of,
Oh, that was a
What
different vote. That was a
That was a different vote?
clarification of some other issue. That wasn't this. The unified district happened much earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, what is the date?
I have no idea. You'd have
And
to
that
check
we
with
should
them.
inform them that we won't be doing their snow removal
Right.
and sanding. That they may owe us
The motion
money.
didn't say you wanted to do that. It only said.
Yeah,
you
And
needed-
right. We didn't want to pull that plug.
Yeah, we didn't
We
say
just
that in
wanted
the
to sit
letter.
down and talk through these issues
Right.
before that we become at loggerheads because of, things we're doing and
Well, it's
what they
simple
have
though, I
to
mean, it's a simple decision. If it's not, if it's owned by the Unified School District, they should be responsible for all repairs and maintenance. I don't understand why the town was doing it in the first place anyways.
Does the school,
Because when it was just the town school and it was the town and it was all
Years
voter
ago,
money,
right?
it didn't make much difference.
I mean,
but
we
now
don't
it
even know
does.
if they've taken this into consideration and are already planning to do their own snow blowing and plowing and all that. So we're still in the dark. Yes, Bob?
as a school system, are they exempt from property tax? Or do they get a diminished property tax? And if
there's no
They're
tax.
not.
There's no
What?
tax.
They're exempt.
They're
Yeah.
exempt.
Yeah.
they are exempt,
All the schools are exempt.
all right, I just find.
What did you say, Lynn?
The schools are exempt, like even Kindle School's
Oh.
exempt.
Okay, any further discussion? No.
So we're
Okay,
gonna ask them to come to our next meeting?
To a future meeting, we'll see
Well, I
Or
think
it
it
may
should be,
even have to be a special one that's not a regular one,
well, if we're talking about snowplowing, you probably want them here sooner than
Yeah.
later.
sooner, yeah.
But we don't want to plow it all winter, and then they say, oh, we don't need it anyways, because spring.
Right.
Yeah,
Then we can send them a bill.
Well, that way if they want to hire somebody, they go hire 'em.
Right.
You know, but I'm
Why
just,
would you source?
Why don't we see if they can come to our next select board meeting again and say that now we know this, it's really imperative that we meet both boards together.
Okay.
And when is our next select board meeting? The 17th. December 17th, okay? Okay. Thank you. So, guess what? We're up to correspondence. Is there any correspondence?
Yeah, it was on,
I think it was right there.
there was another one too.
One's got-
Floating around here somewhere.
Oh, Mike's
which one, this one?
Yeah.
looking at the correspondence.
This one too?
No, that's your-
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Safe
Bye-bye.
home. Shannon? This is about BCTV. Read that, not read that.
I should have said that. Just-
It's long.
It's long. It's long.
why don't you summarize?
You know what, I'll just read this.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The first letter of correspondence for us today is written by Cord Trowbridge, Executive Director, Brattleboro Community Television. Dear Marion, and the select board, it says Dear Marion. I'm writing to you because the future of BCTV and similar organizations around the country is in serious jeopardy. The Federal Communications Commission, FCC, is currently engaged in a rule-making process which, if successful, could allow cable operators to reclassify certain services and charge those against the cable subscriber fees that are collected to fund our organization, potentially eliminating our operating funding. As this would represent the majority of revenue that BCTV and like organizations receive, many community TV stations nationwide could cease to exist. Brattleboro Community TV, BCTV, has provided community media services to Brattleboro and the southern Windham County region for over 40 years. Beginning in 1976 for the towns of Brattleboro, Guilford, and Vernon, we've offered coverage of municipal meetings as well as video production equipment, training, and airtime for residents to produce their own televised content via Comcast. In 2011, we added Dummerston, Jamaica, Newfane, Putney, and Townsend to our service area through Southern Vermont Cable. BCTV has won national awards and is a valued community resource. The FCC has received thousands of comments opposing this rulemaking. Between now and Friday, December 14th at 11:59 p.m., there is the opportunity for letters of opposition to be entered into the record. Community television stations like ours are reaching out to organizations and elected officials to solicit as many of these letters as possible and demonstrate support for community media. Would you be willing to write such a letter? Following this letter, please find a template, a fact sheet, a press release, and where we could write this letter to. I'm consolidating this now. In addition, please consider this letter a request to come before your board at the next available meeting to discuss this matter and its potential budgetary consequences. I will be in contact next week to follow up on this request. Thank you for taking action to stand up for BCTV, a resource that so many rely on to participate in the life of their community. Sincerely, Cord Trowbridge, Executive Director. This does not sound good at all. This is
Well,
terrible.
it's an ongoing battle that the larger cable companies have, ever since the Telecommunication Act of 1967 or whatever, which required that local cable providers also provide coverage for town meetings and for education. It's called PEG, and it's a really important part of what small cable organizations do to actually support their community. It's a valuable resource. Without it, people would not be watching this on TV, will not be watching this on TV. And that's an important community resource for communicating, especially with those who can't travel.
Exactly.
I think we should support it any way that we can. Because without it, BCTV will be holding bake sales, which is not a bad idea, but that's a lot of work in order to cover our meetings. We'll probably get a bill from organizations like BCTV just for them to cover our meetings. And that would be an unfortunate loss of information and citizens' rights.
So the very first thing I would assume is that we as a select board and Newfane community write back and respond to this and say that we absolutely want to support this and continuing.
I think they give us a format.
There's a template or something?
Yeah. All we need to do is they,
There's instructions for filing
yeah.
reply
Oh,
comments.
okay.
And it's based on the volume
Yeah.
that they receive that makes the FCC move.
Yeah.
To the FCC, you can respond to directly.
Right.
Yeah,
There's a form there.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so basically you're just checking email confirmation, continue to review screen, and clip
Submit. Yeah.
submit. So Shannon, can we do that? Yes.
So move that we complete the template and submit it on behalf of BCTV.
Yeah, here's the template here.
I think the template is on email, is it?
Online.
Shannon, or not? It's on-
Keep going back.
Well, this is just.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other suggestions, Em, of what we can do for this?
Put it on your letterhead.
I just found out on Friday, so I'm still digesting it.
This goes through every couple of years.
But this is more serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's far more serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read about it in the newspaper recently.
Yeah.
So there is they would like to have us do this by Friday, the latest.
By December 14th.
Next Friday.
Well, that's next, where am I? That's, well, a week from this Friday.
I think even if people, just ordinary citizens, contributed something too and submitted letters of support,
Right.
that would be
Exactly.
fantastic.
Everybody,
Yeah.
not just select board
Yeah.
members.
What this show means to them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have a lot of people that watch because they can't get here.
That's right.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
sure they would be.
Well, that's why them chairs are empty.
And sometimes when you can't sleep
When
at
they
2 o'clock in
did
the
before they
morning,
had
you're
it, this
watching it.
room would be full.
No,
Well, no, that's why people don't come to me, because they can watch it all, get it on that.
Exactly.
I said,
And that's okay.
right, it is good. I mean, it's good, you know, they get the information they need. We don't, you know, you don't have a whole packed hall here,
yeah,
so you never can tend to business, you know? But, yeah, I don't know, what would you put it on, like the website, like she's saying, that had maybe an announcement on it that people,
Yeah, we can put it on
Could
our
all-
website with a
all the
link.
letters and stuff they could get from individuals
Yes.
too, to send to this thing, have the whole thing on it, where they
This
send
should
it.
also go on Front Porch Forum, I would think, that
Yeah.
somebody should make an effort, because a lot of people, locals,
I almost
Or
think
on
I
that.
saw it on there. but
did you
maybe
see it on
not.
there? I haven't seen it. This is the first I've heard of
So,
it.
so you would be able to put this on our website with the address to write to?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Good.
And if you think of anything else, let us know, because definitely, this is very, very important for us and all the other communities around here.
Well, we thank you for your support. I mean, it means a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So,
I mean, it would be terrible if we lose this.
yeah, and a lot of people are gonna lose their jobs too.
Of course. That's the other,
That's
This is the other-
important too.
yeah. You want to wait now? Okay, we're moving on to the second communication.
As of November 30th, to the Wyndham Regional Town Clerks, Administrators, Managers, and Select Board Chairs, from Adam Grinnell, Executive Director, Brattleboro Development Credit Corp. Enclosed is the Early Winter 2018 Town Bulletin from the Brattleboro Development Credit Corp, BDCC, and the Southeastern Vermont Economic Development Strategies, the SEVEDS, SEVEDS. This communications piece is helping to ensure more people in more towns can easily access our services and programs. Please post this bulletin in a public place to ensure that the town residents coming to your offices to transact business will have the opportunity to see this information. We are proud to provide business and workforce support for the 27 communities we serve in Wyndham Region. Thank you for supporting our efforts to reach all the members of our community. Please contact me with any questions. Adam Grinnell, and Executive Director. So it's a town bulletin, winter, early winter. It has select board visits they're planning on going to, and all their programming, incubator space. So this will be posted.
Okay. So that's it. We're about to do pay orders, so I thank everybody for being here and watching the BCTV. And we are asking for anybody out in the public in Newfane to please write a letter. It will be posted on our website, the Town of Newfane website. The
The
address
format.
that you could write,
The
excuse me?
format will be.
The format, well, yes, for writing a letter to please make sure that BCTV continues to exist. It's very, very important. And thank you, everybody, and have a safe evening. Good night.